All right, we'll start with the baby. You're about to be a father for the third time. How are you feeling about this?
I'm excited. This is something Nicole and I had always really talked about. Being able to have three, I think, is something that, especially this close. That's what we really wanted. We wanted to have them kind of grow up together, and just always be there for each other. Nicole's brother is, I think, 3 or 4 years younger, and I have a 5 and 7-year-old sister. So having that close togetherness, it's been fun to watch. I'm excited to add number 3 to the mix.
Yeah, very exciting. Do you think it's a boy or a girl? Do you hope for either?
I think I'm hoping for a boy. So then, if it is a girl, I go berserk. Either way, I'm going to go berserk.
Of course.
I think it's something Nicole and I both want. We want a girl, and I'd love to see the difference between a boy and a girl, and we're very lucky to have 2 healthy boys.
So let's talk about the Masters. You just told me this was on your bucket list to go, and we saw that epic shot of you and Tiger so locked in. Do you have a relationship with Tiger?
I've had the chance to meet him and chat with him a few times, and honestly, for me, I'm a huge fan. I'm a diehard Tiger fan, and every little small detail that he pays attention to is so interesting to me, and it's it reminds me of a lot of what I did in my career. So it's for me, I like watching that and seeing what he does, and watching him climb back to the top of the mountain. It's been a long journey, and he's been through ups and downs throughout his career, and people thought he'd never win again. I think that's the coolest thing, being able to see somebody who is so driven, so talented, just basically put everything together and make it happen. So it's I think being able to see that, for me, it's probably one of the greatest things in sports I've ever had the chance to witness in person. And as you're saying, that shot on 16, I thought it was going in. You saw Tiger and I both leaning in, kind of going crazy. But yeah, definitely a treat. And I will say, TV does not do justice to
what were we
course.
missing?
The fairway on 1, I feel like you could ski down that slope. The hills are unbelievable. I don't think I saw a single flat spot on that course. So, being able to see it up close like that, and watching the players hit the shots they were hitting at the times they were hitting them, hearing the Tiger roar go around the whole entire property when they put a score up on the scoreboard, that it's electric, and I think the other cool thing about the Masters is you can't take a cell phone in. The first day it was kind of annoying because I kept feeling for it. But to be honest, I was just able to enjoy the experience and enjoy being there at that magical place. There's so much history there, and like you said, is that being on my bucket list? It was a dream come true. And I was a kid in a candy store for 2 straight days, looking at these different holes and seeing all the putting green, the driving range, the clubhouse, going into Butler's cabin, just having all of these opportunities. I felt like a kid all over again on Saturday and Sunday.
When I think about you and Tiger, when I saw that photo, it really stood out to me because you guys are 2 of the greatest to ever do what it is that you've done, and something that I can't relate to. You guys can relate to each other in a way that nobody else can. What did you think about watching him make this comeback, knowing what he had been through, knowing that you made a comeback after what you had been through? Do you feel a special connection to him in that way?
I'll always say, never say a great can't do something, because he's going to prove you wrong 100% of the time. Those guys, they've gotten to that point for a reason. They've gotten there, they know what it takes, they don't forget it. I never forgot it, he's never going to forget it. So being able to kind of watch him go on that tear of just a comeback, that comeback trail where he was able to get back to where he wants to be. I think that shows. Because I think, if he didn't want to do it, he wouldn't be here. But obviously he's enjoying himself, and he's obviously playing unbelievable. I think the game of golf really just got good. It's cool to see also, one thing I paid attention to when I was out there walking and seeing him, he's so in tune with every single part of him and the game. Every single step I feel like is so planned. I feel like every small detail he's paid attention to for his whole entire life, and that's what makes him him. So it was just fun watching him control emotions and just stay peaceful and stay almost zen in a way, but almost then turn the switch on. On 12 when Molinari and Finau go in the water, and it's he almost, I looked instantly at him because I wanted to see his reaction, and because I know what I would do in that situation.
Right.
Like, I'd be licking my chops, right? And, like, you know, you see somebody like that make a mistake, you want to capitalize. And obviously for somebody like Tiger, he's done it hundreds of times before. The guy, he's never going to forget that. He's never going to forget how to go into that extra gear. And that's something that you can't teach.
A gear a lot of people don't have.
That's correct.
Yeah, very few. We have continued to see athletes open up about struggling with mental health.
Sure.
Even in the last year,
Yeah.
we've seen more and more guys open up and tell their story. Do you think that athletes face a unique set of circumstances that requires extra care when it comes to mental health struggles? Obviously, it's something that every person can battle with, but is there a unique set of circumstances for athletes?
I personally just feel that with all of the athletes and celebrities that are coming out and talking about their struggles with mental health, I think it's showing the world that we're human. You know, like I always feel like there's so many people that think we're this superhuman, like not even a real person, but that right there shows we're real. And that right there shows that we go through struggles just like anybody else does. Doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, what house you live in, how much money you make, it doesn't. We're all gonna have the same problems or struggles in life. And, you know, honestly, it's challenging for athletes in a way because we're not supposed to have that weak side, right? You know, we're supposed to show this big, especially in males, big macho side. And it's not always real, you know, like it's hard to get from point A to point B by yourself sometimes. We might need help and we might be weak and we might go through ruts or struggles, this, that makes us human. So, you know, I think it's pretty powerful to see athletes and celebrities using their platform to relate to everybody, because we all go through these things and we live with these things every day. And you know, for me, I'm somebody who has gone through several stages or several phases of depression, and it's not going to go away. I deal with anxiety. That's not going to go away. It's part of me. It's part of who I am. And you know, for me, it's on me to kind of manage it, keep understanding it, keep learning it, and honestly, it's been fun to be able to share my story because I hear other people come up and share stories that they've gone through with loved ones. You know, so it's, you know, for me, I want to save a life, and I feel like having that opportunity is bigger than anything that I've ever done in the pool. You know, suicide rates are climbing. You know, like honestly, you know, I know what it feels like to be in that space where you don't want to be alive and you don't want to talk to anybody. So, you know, I've been able to go through that and come out on the other side and learn so much and be able to hopefully save a life. And that's, for me, that is bigger than winning a gold medal.
Kind of touching on that, one of the things that a metaphor I've used for that kind of vulnerability, that opening up and telling your story about those difficult things, is it's like getting naked in front of strangers almost. But you do, the more you do it, the like 100%. Less weird it feels. Do you ever feel like you're tired of talking about it?
I can't get tired of sharing it because I'm still learning so much more about myself. I mean, I just spoke with Tony Robbins and he sent me the podcast that we did together. And you know, just listening to that, I was able to almost take some of it in and dissect it and learn so much about myself. So, you know, I'm continuing to learn just for the stories that I'm sharing, and I mean, there's probably still hundreds of thousands of stories that I could still share that will show so many different sides of me, and that's, you know, I'm in that process. So it's, you know, it is challenging at first to really open up, but you know, I felt it almost being relaxing more than anything else because. You know, I was so good at compartmentalizing things and not talking about it and stuffing it away, and now I'm just like the complete opposite. You can't get me to stop talking about it. So it's been an enjoyable ride. You know, obviously it's challenging with the struggles that I deal with still, but you know what? It's life. So you know, you take day by day, and as long as the good days outweigh the bad, it's all that matters.
You had almost a Twitter exchange with Kanye West. I think, what did he say? I've been trying to do a serious interview speaking on mental health, but it seems as though all members of press are afraid to speak to someone who has been diagnosed, but is still everyone's favorite superhero. And you responded, I'm working on a piece, I'd love to sit and chat. This was in December. Did anything come out of that?
Nothing yet, no.
Nothing yet.
You know, honestly, we've been working on a documentary called Way to Gold for a long time, and final process now of wrapping it up. But just being able to get some of the athletes that we've had from past Olympics together to talk about their struggles with mental health, but also things that we think we can change leading forward. I think it would be awesome to have him be part of that potentially. And honestly, I think Kanye is somebody who, is extremely passionate and driven in so many different ways and on so many different levels. But, I think he's probably misunderstood in a lot of ways. And it's kind of frustrating to see that, but he is himself. And I think that's the really cool part. It's him being him. Everything that he does is his authentic self. And I think that's something that, I don't know if many people in the world can actually say they're being their authentic self. So, somebody like Kanye who has this platform where he's able to open up and really be him and talk about what he's passionate about, I think it's something that's pretty powerful. And I'd love to have the chance to sit down with him and talk to him about this, because it is real. And I'm happy that other people, like I said before, stepping up and standing out, or stepping up and talking about the struggles that they go through.
I would love to be a fly on the wall when that conversation takes place. Or, we'll send a camera crew as well. Also, I want to ask you about, you mentioned, you're so excited to have 3 young kids. Yeah. I imagine as you're seeing your kids grow up that there are emotions that are hitting you in waves that maybe you weren't expecting, knowing the relationship you had with your own dad. Yeah, where are you drawing from as a source to be this present, involved father for them?
Obviously for me, for a long time, and I've talked about this before, I didn't really have a dad growing up. So, since then I've been able to work through a lot of the things that we had to work through in order to have a relationship and in order to talk. But it's, for me, I remember everything from a child, from my childhood, and that's all very close, because for me, my kids are my everything, and I want them to have the absolute best family life and experience growing up in this world, way better than what I ever had. And for me, it's exciting to just one day at a time watch these little kids just morph into these. These babies morph into these little kids, and how much they're learning along the way, teaching each other things. And then with 3, I can't even imagine what 3 is going to be like. But it'll be an enjoyable ride, and it's just. It's every day is so enjoyable for me, just seeing the smile on his face, or like Boom's like jumping in on me, waking me up, or helping me make breakfast, whatever it might be. All those little small things are fun.
That's delightful. So they were also telling me that Boomer is a Colgate Save Water ambassador along with you. Tell us more about, how did this cause become such a cause that you're so passionate about?
So this is our 3rd year being global ambassadors for Colgate, and as a family, I think. It's been fun to watch Boom's kind of transition into this almost like little actor, like in a way. So but every morning he comes out and he wants to brush his teeth, and we have these little stickers we stick on the stopper, and he's really paying attention. But now when you see Beckett really following everything he does, it honestly makes it so easy, because Boom's is being a good example. We're being a good example for Boomer. Boomer's being a good example for Beckett. He's making a difference. He's helping, and I think it just sends a message that it's really easy for all of us to jump on board and to turn it off. Turn the water off when you're brushing your teeth. You're wasting 900 cups a week. It's something you got to stop. I was just in India, and if you think about it, 1.4 billion people, almost 10% of them have running water. 10%.
I can't even wrap my mind around that.
And who knows in the next, I think it could be in the next decade, 40 out of 50 states have a serious water issue. So, everybody is doing small things, and everybody do big things. We have Earth Day coming up. It's a super, super important time, and this is something that's big. This is something that could affect our world, everyday life, in 10 years.
So I know there's many things that Americans can do to help with this cause. You mentioned turning the water off when you're brushing your teeth. What are some other things that people should be doing?
I think it's really just understanding what we're doing.
Paying attention.
That's something that's really important. If the average family is going through 300 gallons, I think it's something like 300 gallons in a week or something. So it's like, if you think about that, and just all of these stats that we have to share with you guys, it's mind blowing. And it's like, if we're so like laissez-faire about having water, it's almost like we don't even really pay attention to it, because we're so accustomed to having it, and it's going to be a resource that's going to run out. There's a reason why our waterways and things are decreasing.
Well, I think maybe people don't realize that it's as dire as it is.
It's just I feel like we've made a lot of change as Americans in the last 2 years, and I hope for more change this year, because I think in a world scene, we're really not very good. We're pretty poor in conserving water. And it's something pretty sad, coming from Americans, because we pride ourselves in doing so many good things. So I think it's something that we can all really jump on board and just, like I said, pay attention to the small things. Those small things are going to add up to making a massive difference for us, and every single drop counts.
And if your tiny little kids can handle it, I know that the rest of us
Why can't a 30,
can absolutely
40,
handle it.
50-year-old person do it?
Michael, thank you so much for
No worries.
joining us.
Thank you guys so much.